Hi all. I wanted to take you through some energy expenditure equations as well as discuss MET level, metabolic equivalent of a task, and talk to you about the compendium of exercise. Okay, so how you would use that. This is going to be very important for your discussion posts this week, as well as just taking all of the sciencey stuff that you are learning in class. So RER, EPOC, MET level, how we are taking all of those VO2 max, how we're taking all of that information, that sciencey information, and putting it into terms of how we would use that in the real world. So how we would maybe use that as a personal trainer with clients, or as a strength and conditioning coach working with our athletes, or as a wellness coach looking at trying to help people be in a little bit more of a caloric deficit. Okay, so all of these sciencey things that you are learning in your textbook, we need to put them into real life practical examples. Okay, so we're going to talk in this first part, we're going to talk about energy expenditure equations a little bit and the compendium of exercise, and then part two will cover some ACSM running and walking equations. First thing you need you to be aware of is that not every bit of information that you are going to be given is in the correct units. So sometimes you will have to do different conversions in order to get things into the appropriate units before you put them in an equation. Okay, weight is going to be one of your biggest ones that you always deal with. 1 pound is equal to 2.2 kilograms. For the majority of the equations that we will use, you will need kilograms. Okay, so here's an example for you. Sarah weighs 150 pounds. What is her weight in kilograms? We know 1 pound is equal to 2.2 kilograms. So we're going to take our 150 pounds, we're going to divide it by 2.2 and get 68.18 kilograms. Remember that when you are taking pounds to kilograms, pounds is always going to be more because you need to have 1 pound and then you will get 2.2 kilograms. Okay, so pounds will always be the larger number, kilograms will always be the smaller number. Another example, Bob weighs 80 kilograms. What is his weight in pounds? If we needed to take 80 kilograms, so we're taking kilograms, turning it into pounds, then we would multiply. 80 kilograms times 2.2 kilograms per pound would be 176. Okay, do some more of these if you're having trouble with weight conversion. If math is not your strong point, listen to this video, listen to this lecture several times over, take it slow, pause it, do the equation yourself, change the values even. There are lots of people who aren't always great at math, right? But don't get freaked out about it. It's okay. Take it slow and you will figure this out. Total caloric expenditure. This is one of the equations that you will use constantly as an exercise professional. Okay. Being able to give someone their actual calories burned a minute or for an activity is very, very important. We can have as many iWatches or Apple Watches and Fitbits and all of these things. Nothing is better than the true equation. Okay. 0.0175 kcals per minute. That is a constant. We are given that. The next part of the equation is MET level. MET level you will know how to determine by going to the compendium of exercise if it's not given to you in an equation. And also you can figure out MET level for running and walking exercise through the ACSM equations, which we will go through in the next part of this lecture. Okay. And then total body weight will be in kilograms. Remember, I just taught you how to take pounds to kilograms, divide by 2.2. Okay, so we're going to always use kilograms for this equation. And then we will get calories burned a minute. So let's take it a step further and do an example together. So how many total calories does Betty, who weighs 140 pounds, burn during her 30-minute walk that is a MET level of 4. So you were given Betty's MET level, you were given her weight. Those are the two things that you need in order to determine her total calories burned. First thing we need to do is take Betty's weight and divide it by 2.2 to get her weight in kilograms. Next, we're going to just plug in the numbers that we have into that equation. So 0.0175 times her MET level, which we know is 4, times her total body weight in kilograms, which we said was 63.63. So here is our equation with the numbers plugged in. After just putting that into a calculator, you will get 4.45 kcals a minute. So we know every minute that Betty is exercising at a MET level of 4, she is burning 4.45 kcals. Okay? We want to know how many she burned during her full 30-minute walk. So we are going to take the kcals per minute that she's burning. We're going to multiply that by the 30 minutes of exercise that she completed. And we are going to find that 133.62 calories are burned during her 30-minute walk. Poor Betty, she thinks that she exercised for a full 30 minutes and she is going to be able to, go have a McDonald's cheeseburger or a double scoop of ice cream cone or something real exciting. In reality, she's getting to have a small, fun-sized Snickers bar or one of those little 100-calorie packs of wheat thins, right? That's all she burned is 133 calories. This is very common for people to overestimate the amount of calories that are being burned during exercise. Something to think about is the more you weigh, right, the more calories you're going to burn. So if we have a client who's 130 pounds versus a client that's 200 pounds, the 200-pound person will be burning more calories a minute because they are moving more mass per minute than the individual that's only 130 calories. This has nothing to do with gender. This has nothing to do with the fact that someone's a male, someone's a female. It is strictly based on weight. So if you had a man that's 150 pounds and a female who's 150 pounds, they both perform the same exercise at the same MET level, they will burn the same number of calories. Being a man, being a woman doesn't matter. What matters is the mass or the weight of the individual that you are moving. So oftentimes people hit those plateaus after they lose 10 or 15 or 20 pounds because they are burning less calories now doing the same exercise that they were doing before because they weigh less. Okay, so that's something to kind of keep in mind and think about. In the next part of the lecture, we will talk about the ACSM walking and running equations, but I want to point out this compendium of exercise. This is linked in your module this week. This is the compendium of exercise. It was just updated in 2024, and it gives a variety, pages and pages and pages. How many pages? 28 pages of activities that tell us what the MET level is for that activity. Okay, so it's everything from bicycling, right? So we have bicycling leisurely at 5.5 miles an hour is a 3.5 MET level versus bicycling if you were a racer and going 16 to 19 miles per hour, not drafting, you're at a MET level of 12, right? So huge differences in intensity there, okay? Everything from to a stationary bike. They even have e-bikes now that are, the the electronically assisted ones, the little kind of remote control bikes, I think of them as. You have everything from step aerobics is in here to circuit training, resistance training, using a ski machine, uh, all kinds, right? You have 28 pages. You can go from fishing to hunting to daily activities of yard work to sewing to making your bed to feeding your household animals, okay? Everything is in here. Okay, so if you need to determine an appropriate MET level for someone or appropriate activity at a certain MET level, let's say you have a client and you know they need to be exercising roughly at a 3 or 4 MET level range, you could go through here and find exercises that are at that 3 to 4 MET level range that you think the client might enjoy. Maybe they really enjoy dancing, so you give them some dancing exercises, or maybe they really enjoy walking, so you go down to the walking. Maybe they are really into circuit training, so you do some circuit training. Maybe, right? Like there's a bazillion different things that you can give them. Um, but being able to kind of look at these MET levels and look at different options. Don't always give your client oh, you're going to walk on the treadmill at a speed of 3.5. That's boring for them, right? Maybe they enjoy playing some basketball, right? Or maybe they like cardio kickboxing. Maybe, right? Like there's a variety of things in here. So give them something that they will enjoy, not just go out for a walk, go out for a walk. Okay. So that's going to wrap up this first part of the lecture. On the next part, we will talk about ACSM, treadmill, and walking and running equations.